What is going on, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video, and we're here for another Ring of Honor TV review. This is funny because I just had this pen in my hand and then I smacked it loud as hell on the stand and it made a loud noise, so I had to go over it. But you're not here for that. You're here for an ROH TV review. This was a massive episode and I highly recommend you check it out. But if not, I will tell you what took place on this episode. The first thing that we see is our current Ring of Honor World Champion, Eddie Kingston, following his match with Katsuyori Shibata this past weekend at AEW WrestleDream. In this segment, Eddie Kingston says that he appreciates Shibata for everything that he does in the hard-fought match that they had. He is very tired following that matchup, and he's very tired because the workload that comes with being a double champion, not just Ring of Honor World Champion, but the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion, and they does not know who is next for his Ring of Honor World title, but the main thing that he wanted to do is eat one of those Snickers pies. Tonight, on Rampage, there's a number one contenders match for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This match involves Johnny TV, Komander, Lince Dorado, and Penta L0M. When the winner of this match will get the title shot, we shall see. Then the first matchup on this episode is the matchup that is in the title of this video. It's a very big matchup. The women's title, Athena versus legit Leyla Hirsch. Both competitors are undefeated in singles competition in Ring of Honor. Early on, Hirsch hits a drop kick in the corner and then follows it up with a tope suicida to the outside. Then Hirsch attempts a suplex off of the ring steps on the outside, but Athena hits a front-facing suplex off those same steps. Athena then lands a massive forearm following a Hirsch roll-up attempt. And then Athena lands a Kenton bomb and then attempts to hit the O-face, but Hirsch moves out of the way and then is able to lock in an armbar and then soon transitions it into a triangle choke with Athena powering out of it to hit a massive power bomb. Both women then go on to exchange forearms. Athena locks in a crossface, which Hirsch powers out of to lock in another armbar. Once Athena powers out of it, she lands another massive forearm. While both are on the top rope, Hirsch lands a cartwheel German suplex, which was very impressive. Hirsch follows it up with a moonsault attempt, but Athena hits a super kick and then hits the despicable knee to win the matchup. After the match, Athena wants to attack Hirsch, but Billy Starks, who was ringside with Athena, begs Athena not to, and Athena obliges and leaves Hirsch alone. Very good women's title match. I appreciate Athena for having a great title reign, and it will continue on as she retained the championship in this bout. After the matchup, Maria Kanellis came onto the stage and was just shaking her hand in disapproval at Leyla Hirsch. But, you know, if Maria was accompanying Leyla Hirsch, she probably would have done worse. That's a diss at Maria. And then, we had another matchup. Josh Woods versus Tyler Payne. Woods toys around with Payne and wins the matchup with the Anarchy suplex in the corner that now has the name The Tilt to Woods. Next matchup, Christopher Daniels versus Rocky Romero. Prior to this matchup, we have an interview backstage involving both men where they just mainly praise each other because they're very accomplished, not just in Ring of Honor, but in wrestling internationally, worldwide, as they would both go on to say. We get wrist and headlocks to start the match off from both. Rocky lands a tope suicida and then attempts the forever clotheslines once back in the ring, but Daniels moves out of the way, and then Daniels attempts to keep him grounded, but Romero eventually lands a tornado DDT and then the forever clotheslines. Then he hits a foot stomp off of the second rope. Daniels then lands a Frankensteiner for a 2 count and attempts to hit an Angel's Wings, but Romero powers out and lands a Shura Koi for the win. Then we get a backstage promo from Dalton Castle, who is in a plain white t-shirt, and he's just very frustrated and disgruntled with how everything is going on ROH. The main reason he's disgruntled is because he knows how the fans feel. He still hasn't gotten his shot at the TV title, and he has not been involved in ROH more recently, and that he wants to try to be on TV a lot more. And like I said, he was so disgruntled that he wasn't even dressed properly because, like I said, he's just in a plain white t-shirt. Next matchup, Fred Rosser, formerly known as Darren Young, versus Scorpio Sky. Rosser is the aggressor early on in the match and keeps Sky grounded. Sky fights back, following a Sky High for a 2 count. Rosser follows this up with a slam on the apron for a 2 count, but Sky lands a TKO to pick up the victory. Next matchup, Lady Frost and the Renegades versus Willow Nightingale, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan. This is a very similar match to the match we had a couple weeks ago, but that matchup had Leyla Hirsch in it and not Lady Frost. So when I saw the graphic, I'm like, wow, they've done this match before. And then I saw Lady Frost, and I'm like, nope, I'm wrong. Frost and Nightingale start the match off, but the Renegades keep Sky Blue on their side of the ring once Sky Blue is tagged in. And then, at one point, the Renegades and Frost land a they hit triple chops on Sky Blue, and the Sky Blue tags in Kiera Hogan, and then all 6 competitors get involved, with the match ending with Willow Nightingale hitting the Babe with the power bomb. Next matchup, Ethan Page versus Invictus Cash. It's mainly a one-sided matchup dominated by Page until he attempts a Ego's Edge, which Cash slides out of, and then they both end up on the outside of the ring, and then Cash rolls back in, and Page wins the match with the slingshot cutter that is now known as the headshot. So a lot of times I complain, yeah, they hit this maneuver, but I don't know what the hell they call it because a lot of times it's the finishing maneuver, and I don't know what they say it because the announcers don't say it. So I will give Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni credit, because this time around they've been, because now this is twice, because Athena's despicable knee and now the headshot, like we've getting new move names, and they're at least saying what the hell they're called now, so I don't look like that big of an idiot. Next matchup is Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols, TMDK versus the Infantry. Now there's a couple of things I need to say before the match takes place. The Infantry had a backstage promo earlier with Trish Adora, and they were just mainly saying we need to get back to our winning ways, because they were on a bit of a winning streak when they were in the 6-mans with Willie Mack, and then they lost the 6-man title match versus the Embassy, and now they're just wanting to get back in their winning ways. Then TMDK come out, and Bobby Cruz is like, Zack Sabre Jr., and then, because it's TMDK's music's playing, and then it's just nothing happens, and then representing Zack Sabre Jr.'s group, TMDK. So, I don't know if Zack Sabre Jr. is supposed to come out. Maybe I'm looking too far into it, but there's a bit of an awkward intro. The last thing, the TMDK, Shane Haste, Mikey Nichols, most of my knowledge from them comes from their NXT days, are known as the Young Punks. They have it on their t-shirts. And then later on in the matchup, Ian Riccaboni is like, hey, TMDK have competed in ROH before at Rise and Prove in 2012, and they'd run a tournament, and I forgot what the hell the tournament was called, but it was like not that many matches in the tournament. TMDK won the tournament and had a tag team title match against the Briscoe brothers in 2012. So that's 11 years ago. I don't think you can be calling yourself Young Punks if you've been at least a tag team for 12 years, which Ian Riccaboni is like saying, yeah, the TMDK, the more experienced team, they competed in ROH 12 years ago. So, or in this case, 11 years ago. So, it was just a funny thing that I now, again, am overthinking. Let's get to what actually happened in the matchup. Haste and Bravo start the match off, but TMDK quickly keep Sean Dean in their corner once Sean Dean tags in. Eventually, as tag is made to Bravo, who hits a very nice DDT on Haste. Then TMDK lands a suplex powerbomb on Bravo. This is more convoluted than it says. It was like the Tower of Doom, but TMDK, like Shane Haste, was on Mikey Nichols' shoulders, and then that's how the suplex was executed. But TMDK win the matchup with the Tank Buster. I don't know what the hell I've already forgot what it was. I wrote my exact notes are the Tank Buster. I googled it because they didn't say what the hell the name was called. But TMDK win the matchup, and they signal for gold. And Ian Riccaboni's like, oh, are they looking for ROH Tag Team Gold? So, will we see more of TMDK in Ring of Honor? We shall see. And also, I probably should have mentioned, hey, TMDK competed at WrestleDream this last weekend, because they did. And the next competitor, in the next matchup, also competed at WrestleDream. As was Tony Nese versus Satoshi Kojima. Before the matchup starts, Tony Nese comes out with bread, and he's saying that Seattle, which was the town they were in, are mainly fat because they eat a lot of bread, and Kojima loves bread. So once he heard bread was being mentioned, he came out, and Nese was like, oh, you want this bread? Because he had bread in his hand, and he throws it on the ground and stomps on it. The matchup starts with Nese chop. I knew I was going to say it. There's a lot of chops on this episode of ROH, and I knew I was going to say chomp at one point. Like, chomp. And it's kind of fitting because bread, you chomp on bread. I'm over-exaggerating. But Nice chops Kojima, but it does not matter because Kojima is no-selling that crap. And then his hand hurts after that. Later on, Kojima does his own chops in the corner and hits a diving elbow for a 2 count. Nice lands a moonsault for a 2 count. Kojima lands a Koji cutter, but then is distracted by Mark Sterling, but is not distracted that much longer as he wins the match with a big lariat. Yes, I had to say it. Next, we get more minion training. The second session between Athena, Billy Starks, and Lexi Nair. Now, I could have mentioned this earlier, but I knew this segment was coming up, so I was going to wait. Athena is wearing an Oklahoma City Thunder shirt that has Minion Overlord on it. I'm like, that is very interesting. Why the hell? Because, if you look behind me, I think I know a lot about basketball. I think that. I'm like, why is she wearing that? And then I put 2 and 2 together. This was in Seattle. So the reason she was wearing an OKC-related shirt is because, obviously, the OKC Thunder used to be the Seattle Supersonics. And Seattle still not recovered from that, and they're still pissed off about it. So they want no involvement with OKC. So it was a nice little tribute or homage. It's not even really an homage. It's a diss that I should have noted earlier, but I noted now. But Lexi Nair and Billy Starks are wearing Seattle Seahawks related Minion in Training t-shirts. This Minion training session involves them running down and up the stairs again, several squats, and confronting people backstage. Billy Starks says that she is happy that Lexi is there, but Lexi, she was straight up with it. She's like, Billy sucks. Then Athena says, hey, Billy, you suck, and you have a punishment. And this punishment was knocking on Tony Khan's door, impersonating William Nightingale, and saying that he sucks. So there was that. And then it's followed up with a Billy Starks match. This matchup being against Trish Adora. Starks starts the match attacking more viciously as Athena is at ringside, and she is more vicious once Athena yells at her. Adora lands a German suplex for a 2 count. Starks attempts a swanton, but Adora gets her knees up, and then Starks lands the Star 10 and wins the match with a crossface. Very similar to Athena, because Athena had several crossfaces during her matchup earlier. Next matchup is Lee Johnson versus Darius Martin. It's back and forth early on, mainly with shoulder blocks and drop kicks. Then we see Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty are watching the match backstage, but who are they watching this match for? Is it the winner? Is it the loser? It's not established tonight. We shall see in the future. Martin attempts a slingshot cutter, or hits a slingshot cutter for a 2 count, and then Johnson lands a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2 count. Martin hits a suplex and a frog splash for the win. Then we get a 4-corner survival tag team match. I will admit, the first time that I thought this was an 8-man tag. And then they're like, oh, this is a 4-corner survival. So I'm like, kind of makes it more easier. The Workhorsemen versus the Iron Savages versus Lee Moriarty and Shane Taylor versus Cole Carter and Griff Garrison. Moriarty and Henry start the match off, and we get frequent tags. But surprisingly, the Workhorsemen were the main, or I shouldn't even say surprisingly, because when you look at their name, it's understandable. But the Workhorsemen stayed in this match a great majority of the time as they would tag out, or they would keep their opponents on their side of the ring, but once their opponents are able to get away, they would tag out. But you know how 4-corner survival works. But the Workhorsemen were in this match for a great majority of it, and they were finally tagged out by the Iron Savages, who sip the Savage sauce and then dive onto everyone on the outside. Maria saves Cole Carter from being attacked by Boulder, and then Boulder is tagged out by Shane Taylor, and Shane Taylor lands a right hand on Cole Carter to win the match for Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty of Shane Taylor Promotions. And then we get to our main event, Trios Tag, and I did not write down who the winner was, but guess what? I know who it was, so you're seeing me making that note now. Angelico, Serpentico, and Gringo Loco versus the team of Metalik, Komander, and Gravity. And a lot took place in this match. Metalik and Gringo Loco start the match off, and almost immediately Metalik lands a Hurricane Rana off the top rope. Then both tag out with Komander and Angelico tagging in, and both of those men mainly just taunt during their time in the ring. And then Serpentico and Gravity tag in with both men exchanging chops, and then all 6 men come in to fight, with the SAP and Gringo Loco landing a triple drop kick onto Gravity. They soon followed up with a triple power bomb for a 2 count on Gravity. Then Metalik and Gravity dive onto the SAP on the outside, and then Komander is about to do his springboard dive onto everyone, but Gringo Loco stops that from happening and lands a springboard Spanish fly on Komander, and then follows that up with a dive onto everyone that was on the outside of the ring. Komander lands a crazy / very fast springboard moonsault Canadian Destroyer. Let me repeat that. Springboard moonsault Canadian Destroyer, and then wins the match for his team with the rope walk shooting star press. So that was a very fitting end to a very great episode of ROH. A lot of great. I don't think I have anything really to complain about with this episode. So, like I said from the very beginning, hey, check it out if you get to. So I'm intrigued to see what happens next week. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see who the number one contender for the ROH World Championship is going to be. I'm just rambling on at this point. So hopefully everyone here stay safe. I do thank you for watching the video. If you want to see more videos, you should subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.